Year in, year out, we love our Cleveland Indians, and it's easy for fans to pick their favorites. But what puts a player into the league of being a legend? Retired Cleveland's plain dealer sports writer Russ Schneider is here to tell us. Russ is the author of the appropriately titled Cleveland Indians Legends.
That's a good name for it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Welcome to the show. I mean, the book is actually exactly what it says, Cleveland Indians Legends. So how did you decide who would make it into the book and who didn't make the cut?
Well, many by personal opinion. I covered the Indians long enough to know the good players from the better players, and so actually based on that, and based on their record, and based on their longevity, and based on the positions that they played and the contributions they made to Cleveland baseball.
Okay, and you divided the book into eras, about 25 years each. So let's start way at the back end of things. From 1901 to 1925, Tris Speaker was a player. So what made him get into the book?
I would say that Tris Speaker was the original icon for the Indians, if you will. And he was traded from Boston to Cleveland in 1916, and in 1920 he became the manager, a player manager, and in 1920 he led them to their first pennant, the first World Series.
Okay.
So that would, I think that would qualify him. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was a great player, and at the end of his career, actually before he passed away in the 50s, he was a coach for the Indians.
Oh, okay. And he came here from Boston Red Sox. So what was the story behind him coming here?
Well, he had batted over 300 4 years in a row for the Red Sox. And in one of those years, he was the most valuable player in the league. And then when they sent him his contract for the following season, for 1916, there was no raise. In fact, there was a slight cut. And he refused to sign. This was the beginning, you might say, of things that are going on now.
Right.
And so he refused. And it's an interesting aspect of it that I don't think many people are aware of. There was an old sports writer from the Cleveland News named Ed Bang, and he was the guy who went to the general manager of the Indians and said, "You probably could get this guy in a trade because the Boston team is fed up with him, and he's fed up with Boston." Well, that panned out, except at first, and this is interesting also, when the general manager went to Speaker said, "I don't want to go to Cleveland." I said, "They have a legacy for losers."
Uh-oh.
And this is okay. Anyway, that's how I picked him, and he was the 7th player selected in the original Hall of Fame for baseball, and he was really a great player and a good guy. And I guess that, how much more can I tell you?
Yeah, well, we need to move on to the next era, 26 to 50, Bob Feller. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that.
There certainly is. The second icon, I'm not enumerating, but certainly Feller was an icon. Everybody knows who Bob Feller was in the Indians. And for a lot of reasons, because he was a great pitcher, and he started when he was like 16 or 17 years old pitching in the big leagues. And he also, when the 2 days after World War II started, Bob enlisted in the Navy. And I thought that certainly reflects on his personality and his character. But there's no question he's there in my book because he deserves to be there as an icon.
Okay. I wish we could talk about them all, but we don't have time.
Okay.
So there are so many more wonderful profiles of Tribe players who gave us their all, each beautifully illustrated by Tom Denny, gathered in Cleveland Indians Legends. Our thanks to Russ Schneider for talking Tribe with us today. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To order the book, call the Kent State University Press at 800-247-6553 or click to www.kentstateuniversitypress.com.